So I've been watching Darling in the Franxx and it's really good. I think it does a really good job at exploring some classic dystopian themes in a really interesting way. Alright, that's enough sounding smart for the video. Do you ever get to that point in a show where you're like, wow, this just got way too heavy? Well, I got to that point in the show, so I took a break from watching it and tried to find the dumbest show I could possibly find. Just one I could mindlessly watch for a bit and take my mind off what I'd just seen. That's when I found Keijo. Somehow my small break turned into me binging the whole 12 episode series. If you've never heard of Keijo, which I don't blame you, let me explain it to you really quick. The story takes place in a world where a new sport has become insanely popular due to the fact that it's legal to gamble on, and maybe a few other reasons. The sport is called Keijo and it works like this. The girls are put on this platform and their goal is to either knock their opponent out cold or off the stage into the water. This all sounds perfectly normal, right? Well, the catch is that the players are only allowed to use their boobs and butt to do this. This whole thing is just absurd. Like, I can definitely see an audience of people who would be willing to watch this in real life. Like, part of me is surprised it isn't already a game show somewhere else. So I looked it up out of curiosity, and it turns out after the show was created, someone actually tried to make a Keijo league in Portugal. The league opted to use more pads to make sure the players didn't get injured, and they also wore swim caps so their hair wouldn't get in the way, which makes a lot more sense as a sport because we're gonna see these players do some absolutely absurd things throughout the show, which don't even look like they should be legal in the sport. Our story follows Nazumi, a talented gymnast who's so good she's receiving several offers and scholarships. But after hearing about how much Keijo players can make, she's immediately drawn to it and decides to take the exams to enroll in Satoshi, the only Keijo school in Western Japan. Notice how I say the only school in Western Japan? This becomes important to the story later. After taking the exam and meeting her friend Sayaka, a former judo prodigy, she begins to fall in love with Keijo after being defeated in the entrance exams. And her new dream is to become the greatest Keijo player ever. So there we go, a pretty standard sports anime plot for a pretty abnormal sports anime. So despite losing in the entrance exams, Nazumi still passes and soon moves into the dorms with Sayaka and her new roommates Kazune and Non. And these girls have it rough. Satoshi is basically butt wrestling boot camp. Their day consists of doing butt workouts, endurance training, and even real classes dedicated to the science and anatomy of butts. There's even a part in this class where they explain why Western women typically have larger butts than Eastern women. And you know, I'm glad they did the research because I came into this show expecting to learn nothing, and now I know that, so. Anyways, back to the amazing plot. The reason the girls have to work so hard is because they're trying to make it into the elite class of Satoshi, which is the top Keijo players in the school that get access to better training and, more importantly, better food. And coming up is a competition against members of the elite class with the chance for them to move up the ranks if they win. After training super hard, each of the 4 girls has developed their own set of skills and they all have their own goals now. Nazumi's goal is to perfect the vacuum butt, which is as dumb as it sounds. The teacher helps her out with this by giving her a skin-tight suit she has to wear for an entire month straight, which makes total sense. I mean, she wears this skin-tight suit which leaves absolutely nothing up to the imagination, and that's supposed to make her better at Keijo? Meanwhile, Sayaka is working on improving her speed and finds that giving herself a wedgie is the best way to do this. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. Meanwhile, Kazune has the ability to touch a person's butt and know their moves and gain their abilities. That's real. Like, that's real. She's just, I don't know, she's just a butt wizard, I guess. And known, she's just built like a bouncy house. So after training super hard, every single one of them except for Kazune wins their elite class battle, which sounds shocking because she obviously has the most broken ability in the show, but she also goes up against the #1 ranked Keijo player in the entire school, Mio Kusugai, who uses an illegal Keijo move called boob hypnosis. Boob hypnosis, that's right. So seeing everyone's hard work, the teachers decide to move them all up into the elite class, including Kazune, because the plot demands it, and there's nothing more important in a show about butt wrestling than the plot. So now that they're in the elite class, the girls go on a field trip to Kyoto in order to receive special training from some Keijo professionals. We see some of this training, but we mostly focus on Nazumi's training, who's tasked with pulling turnips using only her butt, but she has to do it all in one clean motion and she can't break the turnip. You know, some real Mr. Miyagi type training. After this training, she comes back and just stomps this poor girl who's obsessed with Mio Kusakai. And now comes the school battle arc. Now remember, Satoshi is the only Keijo school in the West. Well, to the east we have Saraga, and these girls are no joke. And every year these two schools compete in the East and West War, which hasn't been much of a war so far, because Saraga has won every year for the past 10 years. But all the teachers at Satoshi are convinced this is their year because get this group is special. So literally right after this training, the East-West War starts, and it's 3 rounds of 4v4s, which you think would be a perfect time to put these 4 together, but no, they're all in different groups for some reason. The first round starts and it's looking bad. Sayaka's wedgie attack doesn't work and just about the whole team is ready to get knocked out. But this team also has the GOAT, Mio Kusakai, on their team. She manages to turn the tables using an attack on these twins I absolutely cannot show on the screen, but just trust me, it's something. After getting some time to recover, Sayaka uses her ultimate wedgie attack, which actually isn't a wedgie attack, she just straight up rips her swim bottoms off. I just need everyone to know her dad came to watch this. This dad is super disappointed that her daughter gave up judo for Keijo and is now watching his daughter pull her pants down in front of the entire stage of thousands of people. That's not even the weirdest part though, he's actually chill with it, like he's excited for his daughter in this moment. Like I think this is supposed to be a wholesome moment where he like comes to terms with what his daughter's doing and realizes that she's happy doing it, but just all the context surrounding like what she's doing like makes this so strange. Anyways, Sayaka uses this new ability to close out the first match, giving Satoshi the first win. Now for the second match. Now it's Nona and Azune's turn to fight, and in another moment which is clearly supposed to be wholesome, we see a flashback of everyone at Satoshi laying out their asses in front of Azune so she can touch them and gain their abilities. Again, like it's supposed to be this really wholesome moment, like, oh, we're all in this together, we're all here with you, but it's just like it's butt wrestling, like what? So now Azune has all of her classmates' abilities and she uses this to give Sane, who has drill boobs, a run for her money. And they go head to head in a final 1v1 and it looks like a tie. But after an instant replay, we learn that the rotational energy from her opponent's boob made it so that she hit the water after Azune. So Azune has officially gone this entire show without a single win. Like the character with easily the best ability just hasn't won a match yet. Let's just ignore that and just go on to the final match. Because the last match is Nazumi and they're going up against some stiff competition. Just as Nazumi is about to take out their strongest fighter, Maya, the girl just miraculously tanks all her attacks. It turns out this girl, Maya, has 2 personalities, and the other personality, Kaya, comes out when Maya is in danger. And Kaya's not messing around, she's not playing any games out here. She goes up to her teammate and goes, hey, you can sit this one out, and then knocks her own teammate off the stage. So Kaya just starts crushing all 4 of the Satoshi girls. So the girls decide to put all their faith into Nazumi. This girl Hanabi, who is actually the girl who defeated Nazumi all the way back in the first episode, uses her ability Boob Soul to help Nazumi basically go Super Saiyan. Like she legit changes outfits, which I mean, we're just gonna have to ignore that at this point. Like it's too far in the show, we're just gonna accept that that just happens. That's just a thing that happens, I guess. And after a classic anime fight, which can literally only be described as a copy and paste of a Dragon Ball fight, and a little heart-to-heart between Kaya and Nazumi which lasts all of 30 seconds, you'll never guess who wins. Yeah, it's Nazumi. After this, we get a wholesome moment between Maya and the coach of the Saragi team, who I guess is her mom. I don't know, I must have missed that. I don't know how. We literally have known these characters for like 3 episodes. Then we get this banquet where the 2 teams basically act like the beef never existed, and hooray, they're all friends now. Fast forward to a little bit later and we see our heroes getting ready to start their careers as professional Keijo players. Sayaka and Nazumi get sent off to the same professional branch, and that's where the anime stops. And you can tell they were getting ready for a season 2, like they showed all the professional Keijo players that they were gonna have in the next season, and then we just didn't get another one. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. The last season came out in 2016, so unless a miracle happens, we're probably not gonna see another season of Keijo. After doing some more research, it seems like the creator of the show was forced to rush the manga, which led to a dip in quality in the last few chapters. which is absurd because the bar was already on the floor and I don't even know where it is now. But before I talk more about the actual show, there's two things I want to talk about, and no, they're not what you think they are. I want you to guess how many men speak in this entire show. Go on, take a second. It's three. It's three men. There are three men in this entire show that even speak. There's this news reporter, the announcer, and Sayaka's dad. That's it. Those are the only three men that speak in the entire show. They have like 3 minutes of dialogue between the three of them combined, which isn't like weird on its own. It's just weird in a show like this where you would assume that the audience is mostly men, that there are only 3 men who ever speak. Next is the gambling. Like, the first thing that's brought up in the show is that it's a big deal that you can gamble on this, but we don't hear about anyone gambling for the rest of the show. Like, that's the one time it's brought up. They never talk about any gambling at all. It just isn't brought up again. Also, how would gambling like this work? Like, a lot of these girls seem clearly only interested in the sport because of the amount of money it brings. Like, are you telling me none of those girls are above or below, like, just taking money under the table and fixing matches? Like, that doesn't come up at all in the show. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. This show, for so many reasons, is just absolutely insane. There's just so many moments in this show where I just see something and I'm like, oh, like, I'll just let it slide. Like, I'm sure they'll explain it later. And then they explain it later and I'm only more confused. Like, I never get less confused, it's only more. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me how this show was conceived. Like, the creator saw all these sports and martial arts and disciplines and just regular wrestling, and just went, nah, all this is boring. Let's just have them do it with their butts. Yeah, let people gamble on it too. Yeah, that'll be cool. It's just such an anomaly of a show, and I don't think any sports anime could ever dream of topping this absurd plot. But yeah, let me know what I should watch next. See ya.